on your notes, let's go solving quadratic.
We can't see it.
Solving quadratic equations by the quadratic formula. I always make a joke. Date is 11/20/13. That even if I think I get Alzheimer's, I'll be able to, maybe a person took a lot of high-level math. I don't care. If I've got Alzheimer's, I'll still be able to recite. When I'm 90, if I make it to 90, I'll be able to recite the quadratic formula too. A over b plus y squared, b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And it's something used all the time. Okay, because just for this reason. You guys remember how I had all these steps, and you can get mad at me if you want, but you had all these, you had to recognize, okay, when it looks like this, how could I maybe factor it? But then we had some problems that I actually put on there that you could not factor, right? There was no special numbers, right? So these methods we learned doesn't work for everything, okay? But the quadratic formula, if you can write a quadratic equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, then you can solve the equation using the quadratic formula. You guys all like things that are the same every time, right? Everybody likes doing those, right? That's the quadratic formula. Okay, now, does it look a little daunting? Maybe. But it's really not that bad. The simplifying of it is probably much worse. And how it goes is 4 ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, which we ought to be pretty used to that, right? Very important thing is this what? A, this what? B, and the c. X will always equal negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, which means 4 times a times c, all of that over 2 times whatever a is. Hey, you guys don't have to listen, but you're not going to talk to each other. Disturb people around you. This is quadratic formula. Something you'll have to memorize for the test. Where do you think this B, this A, and this C come from? Where do you think I get that from? Anybody have a guess?
No.
Well, I said 4 what? Come in. For ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. this is true. What they've done is they've already solved it for you. For tomorrow. What's the deal here? Where do you think the b comes from? What else in the quadratic formula have I given you from this line down? What else have I given you? Come on, guys. Let me just take a wild guess. Where do you think I get this B from? Where else do you see the letter B?
Up there.
Up above it in this right here, right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't B always... A is always the number in front of what? The x squared, right? What do you think B is? Number in front of the x. What do you think C is? The plain number, right? So it refers to these up here, doesn't it? Now, you don't have to write this down, but you guys remember, well, I sure hope you do, because you probably were really tired of having all these. Remember this? Everyone agree? Those are all quadratics. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Here it's pretty obvious what A, B, and C are going to be, right? Here, what changed? You still have a B and a C, but what would A be equal to here? A would be 1, wouldn't it? You guys agree? Guess what? This one right here can be written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, because you can write it as ax squared plus bx plus what? 0 is equal to 0. So here the only difference is c is what? 0, right? Agreed? Because see how there is no plus 0 is the same thing as not having it, right? So you see how this can actually be written in that form as well. This one here, well, what's missing in this one? So basically, b could equal 0 here too. I could write it as ax squared plus 0x plus c is equal to 0. So for each of these, there's an a, b, and a c, isn't there? So each of these, in essence, can be written in that form. The reason we wrote them like this was to recognize what we do with certain types. One thing's gone, one other thing's not. So guess what we're going to do for your assignment today? We are going to take practice test 2, and we're going to solve every single one of these using the quadratic formula. So let's do some examples. And here's the deal. If you guys will relax, not get all flustered because of all the weird shapes and the square roots and things like that, you'll find that this is actually much easier. Now, there's more computations to do, I guess, but as far as those of you that like, you had to find things, didn't you, with special numbers and things like that. This one, you plug the numbers in, you see what you get. It's that simple. And all the ones you have today will come out even. This is what your worksheet's going to look like. I am just going to pick some numbers here. Let's go with 5x squared minus 4x minus I'm sorry, 12. Sorry. Everybody can see that's a 12 instead of a 14. Now, the first thing you're always going to do is the first thing you always did with all the others. What do we make sure everything's set equal to?
0.
Is everything set equal to 0? So I'm, of course, as you guys hate how I make you do this, I'm making you rewrite this. Why do you think I had you write it right under here? Anybody want to guess? What's right above it?
The A.
Where
B,
I want you to
C.
write what A, B, and C are. And we've kind of got it right under. Remember, one thing to always remember, guys, is the A isn't just the first one you write down. It's the number in front of the what? X squared. The B isn't just the second one you write down. It's the number in front of the what? X. So, you know, in case it's written in a different order, make sure you know that. And the C is just a plain number. So right now, what is my A?
5.
Does anybody have any problems there? Does that make sense to you? Everybody okay there? What is my B? Everybody okay there? You see how it's negative because there's a negative in front. What is my C? Huh? Okay. All I do now is use the quadratic formula, and I want you to write it in right here. What goes first? What is B? So it's a minus B, so I write B is -4, so I write -4 in there. Everybody agree? Plus or minus, square root of what goes here? Huh? So what's B? Does everyone see where I got the -4? Put it right there. Minus 4 times whatever A is. What is A?
5. And then.
Times whatever C is. What is C?
-12.
All of that over 2 times whatever A is. What is A?
5.
Now it's just multiplication, taking the square root, things like that, isn't it? When it's all said and done, that's not that terrible, is it?
That's all we do.
You put it in there, now we have to multiply it all out. You need to make sure you use your order of operations. The thing that people forget is this square root sign. Bring it down with you. If you want to go over one to the side here, work to the side, and then start working down, that's fine. Let's simplify this part. This is where people run into problems. People try to skip. I will expect to see these steps. You can do calculator work, but I want the calculator work done individually. I mean, when it's all said and done, if the only thing you were looking at here is that a hard question to answer, minus -4, can we all do that? What is the answer to that question? Becomes a what? +4. Plus or minus the square root of. What is -4 squared?
Could you get the 4 again? I'm sorry.
16 squared.
Minus negative.
Oh.
Minus negative becomes positive, right? -4 squared is a positive what?
16 squared.
16, right? And I'm taking the square root of the whole thing. Now, here's my suggestion here, because this is a huge part of this. This whole thing here is called the discriminant. We'll get into that later. But figure out what your sign is here, because it's important whether you get a negative or a positive underneath the square. What is a negative times a positive times a negative? A negative times a positive is a negative times negative is a, so plus. Well, now put 4 times 5 times 12 into your calculator. What do you get? I don't expect you to know that on top of your head, but you have calculators. Do it.
240.
240. All of that over 2 times whatever A is. What is A?
5.
2 times whatever A is. So what would you get?
2.
Right, you answered my question perfectly. 2 times A is 5, right? So 2 times 5 is 10. Does everybody see how I got from right here to right here? Any questions there? I don't want to lose anybody. Just keep writing the plus and minus, the square root, and all that stuff. So here, the only thing, this is simplified, that's simplified. I got to simplify this square root, don't I? So when I come down to here, it's still going to be 4 plus or minus, is it not? Everyone agree? Now, square root of, now add that. What is 16 plus 240?
256.
All of that over 10. Now, in all the ones I've given you today, they were factorable. So this should come out to be a perfect square. In other words, when you put this into your calculator, turn my screen rotation on. When you put it into your calculator, and guys, this is important. You guys aren't going to know these off the top of your head. Some of you will, some of you won't. I'm going to press square root. See how I press the square root button? Of 256. Up. You don't have to close parentheses there, you can. Okay, some of you will have a calculator which you put 256 in first, then press the square root button. Some of you won't. Then you press equals. What's the answer? 16. So I'm going to replace that square root of 256 with a regular 16. So now it's 4 plus or minus what? 16 over 10. Everybody okay? You guys see how I got from there to there? To me, the only thing that's really complicated about this is just that you can make a lot of mistakes whittling this thing down, as you would imagine. Agreed? Now, you remember how there was always two answers? The plus and the minus is what makes the two answers. See, when you get it like this, and you get your square root down, and you've got a number plus, this is when you need to split it. Okay? And we'll go ahead and split it down here into x is equal to, what do I say, do you think? 4 what? Plus 16 divided by 10 is one answer. The other answer is what? 4 minus 16 divided by what? See how that creates two different answers? What is 4 plus 16? So this is 20 over 10, which makes this what? So one of your answers for x is 2. What does this make? 4 minus 16 is a negative 12 over what? 10. When you reduce that, you should get a negative 6 over 5. And that's what you should put. You put negative 1 1/5. That's not the end of the world either. All of you can get the fraction calculator app, can't you? So in essence, was that really that hard? It was just a bunch of figuring, wasn't it? How do you guys feel about this? Do you like that it's the same thing every time? You just plug the numbers in and you simplify it, right?
I think it's a lot easier than like the other stuff.
Than the other stuff, right? Because there was more you had to look for this type or that type. I can see that. That's why I always remembered this. I wasn't the best factor in the world either. I always knew that if I didn't want to mess around with, I had big numbers, like, we had some of those big number ones. I knew, okay, the heck with that. It may be factorable, but I know the quadratic formula. It's easier to do that. And I'll show you how to tell whether something is factorable using the quadratic formula. Okay, let's do another one. Remember when we had ones like this? 4x squared minus 2x is equal to 0. Does everyone agree? What's different about this one? Huh? What's gone? The c. Is it all equal to 0 first?
The c is 0.
Yeah, it's all. I've got it all set to equal, so I'm ready to write it over here. But do yourself a favor: 4x squared minus 2x. But here, put plus what? 0.
Wait, so you say plus 0 to put that c in?
But yeah, so there is a c. Because basically, when there is no c, c is what? It's 0. So just to help yourself see that, that's why I've got this step in there. I'd like you guys to do. Just start seeing that. Eventually, will you be able to look at this and not have to write this to know c is 0? I hope so. So now, what's my A?
4.
What's my B?
-2.
What's my C?
0.
So, I'm going to zoom out here just so we can still see the quadratic formula, because you guys aren't going to have this memorized, are you? You're going to have to look at this every time, but hopefully after doing it enough, it'll start to stick. And the reason I've got this written out like this is to help you realize that I would hate to go through all this junk and forget to make minus and negative, if you had to here, and get it wrong because of that. Wouldn't that suck, for lack of a better word? So, what do I put in here? Negative what? B. So tell me what to put in this parentheses.
-2.
-2. Plus or minus square root of b squared. What do I put in this parentheses? -2. Minus 4 times whatever a is. What's a?
4.
What's c?
0.
All of that over 2 times whatever a is, which is?
Wait,
What's A?
4. 4 is there.
4. It's okay.
I saw the 2.
Hey, it's fine. So now we need to start whittling this thing down, right? Go over here, that's fine. -2 becomes what? 2 plus or minus, write this square root. It's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like it when people don't write the square root. -2 squared is what? 4. First of all, it's minus, what is 4 times 4 times 0? 4 times 4 is what? Times 0 is what? All of that over 2 times a ends up being what? 2 times what? Everybody okay there? Now, base you have 2 plus or minus the square root of 4, because 4 minus 0 is 4, right? Over 8. Would everyone agree? What is the square root of 4? 2. So I have 2 plus or minus 2 over what? At this point, when you get number there, and that, what's it time to do now? Split it up. So x is equal to 2 plus 2 divided by what? 8. And x is equal to 2 what? Minus 2 divided by what? What's 2 plus 2?
4.
So 4 over 8. That reduces to what? 1/2. So one of my answers is 1/2.
Wait.
You guys see how I got that? The 4's on top. This is, I think, what people make. I went 2 plus 2 divided by 8. 2 plus 2 is what? 4.
How did you get?
Okay, I'll go back.
How'd you get 4 minus 0? Because you're doing -4 times 4, which would equal.
-16 times 0 is what?
Is what?
Times 0 is 0. So that's why all of that became 0.
Oh, okay.
Did you with me now?
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, look up here and I'll freeze this when we get to the end. You can write it out, okay?
That would be better.
Okay, so you guys see how I went 2 plus 2 over 8, and how I split it up and got to here, right? We okay with 1/2. What is 2 minus 2?
0.
Over 8 is what?
0.
Here's your 2 answers. You guys can curse me all you want and say, why in the world didn't we just learn this and not worry about factoring? You need to know how to factor, especially in things like trig, and there's just some things in algebra 2 that it's nice to be able to split it up into 2 quantities when you got a big fraction with a bunch of stuff on it, because sometimes you can cancel then if the 2 quantities end up being equal. You know, there are reasons to know how to factor. But the good thing is solving quadratics, which quadratic means it's x squared, you can always use this. Now, what would happen if it was something like this, except that, what if that had been 4x squared minus 2 equals 0? Can anybody tell me what the difference would have been?
Where is that?
If this instead of being 2x, it was just 2. What would have changed?
The B would be different, right?
C would have been -2, wouldn't it? Which one would have been 0? B. So it just would have changed where you put stuff, wouldn't it have? Okay? I've got the worksheets ready to go. Would you guys rather just start on this and kind of
Yes.
on the job training, I guess you could say?
Yeah.
That way tomorrow, we can, I think we're gonna have work day tomorrow. I may give you another worksheet tomorrow, but that way you can get started.
Chill out.
But the good thing is it's only 16 problems. It's all problems you've done before, you just did them by factory. And now you're just gonna plug them in. Okay?
Yeah.
We haven't done book work in a while, have we?
Yeah, I know, let's
We
that way.
shouldn't do that.